kill. He was 3 years old when I would leave him alone with my baby brother.
And I remember him motioning me to come to him in the bedroom. I heard my sister crying behind him. He said,
"If you don't shut up, I'll kill you both, you bitch."
well, we told my mother anyway. She still made us hang out with him.
When he was 8 years old, he tried to kill himself for the first time.
I wasn't allowed to eat. I had to walk around in my dirty calzones because she wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. And when I couldn't hold it anymore, I would piss and shit on myself.
Take your underwear off. Good. Now put it in your mouth. When he was 11 years old, he tried to kill for the first time.
I used to have to kneel next to my mother's bed every night. I didn't have my own bedroom. And one night, I crawled quietly into the kitchen, and before I knew it, I was standing over her with a knife. I wanted to kill her, but I couldn't. I was afraid, and I loved my mother deeply. So, I made a choice to leave, and I found a new family, a gang.
When he was 11, he had his first child.
A doctor walked into the room, and he rolled in a medical cart. He didn't say a single thing to me, but I knew what was underneath that sheet. But there was no one there to help me understand it. I walked out of that hospital feeling less like a runaway and more like a throwaway.
I did not understand my life.
I had to walk away from being afraid for survival, so I became angry. Now, I wanted to hurt people. I wanted to kill.
At 17, he was sent to prison for the first time.
I was talking crap all the time, fighting all the time, but for the record, I wasn't a very good fighter, but I was willing to fight. I ended up in a maximum security prison, in the middle of a race ride, whites against blacks. And when an unarmed black man came in to save my life, a guard came in and shot him in the side. I grabbed my friend who was bleeding from the side and I dragged him the length of 3 football fields to the other side of the prison for help. But there was no help.
No hospital for him.
No one in,
no one out.
I snapped. I started fighting with the guards. Inmates came out to help me. We took over that cell hall. We grabbed the keys and we forced our way to the inmate hospital. But it was too late. My friend was dead. I spent the next 28 months of my life in segregation and isolation for that. But because of my role in the riot, I had power. I was getting more respect.
And then he was back on the streets.
I walked in the street punk, but I walked out a gang leader. I had power. I had authority. And now I've embraced hate. Not coraje, hate.
I had more animal than human in me. At 22, este cabrón went back to prison.
I took control. I had inmates beat up, guards beat up, but what I wanted to do the most was beat them up myself. So I turned a 2-year sentence into 7, most of that time in isolation and segregation. And in that darkness, I found myself back in my mother's cold, damp basement. In that 7 years, I was transferred 17 times, and the last time was in the middle of the night. When we got to the new prison, the security staff recognized who I was, and they said,
"This man can't come here. Oh, we can't handle him."
when a man is rejected even from prison, where is he left to go?
At 29, he was forced into treatment.
I thought, hell yeah, I'll go to treatment. I'll play that game. I'll get an early release.
Tell us about your children, Sammy. What do you think of yourself as a father?
Fuck you.
All right. Sammy, tell us your kids' names. What are their names?
I ain't telling you shit, man.
All right, Sammy. Maybe I'm asking the wrong questions here. Tell me about your mother.
My mother? My mother? You wanna know about that bitch? That bitch broke my bones. She sent me to school smelling like piss. She let her fucking brother rape me. She let her fucking brother rape us! That's my mother!
All right, Sammy. You need to take a seat. Sit down. Good. Now sit on your hands. Sammy, you need to sit in your hands. Do you have any good memories of your mother?
She used to give me Tonka trucks.
Now I want you to visualize that your mother is sitting in this chair. What would you tell her?
I don't have shit to say to that bitch.
She's sitting right here, Sammy. She's listening. What would you say?
Could you do this to us?
Good, you're doing great, Sammy. Now, I want you to sit in this chair, and you will become your mother, and I will become you.
I don't want to do that.
You have to, mijo.
I'm sorry.
Have you ever hurt anyone the way your mother hurt you?
Yes.
Now, how do you feel?
And for the first time, I expressed all those emotions of being brutalized, of being raped, abandoned, invisible. And from that moment, my life became one long apology to my victims, to my enemies who I felt at that time had deserved everything I ever did to them, to my siblings, to my children who I had abandoned at this point. I was 43 years old when I found out I had an older brother, but I never
But you
met
never
him.
met him. You
I
didn't even know he
existed.
existed. He was taken from me because I beat him with a Tonka truck. He was 18 months old, and you were still in my panza.
I wanted to get up from my desk, skip out on my next client, drive to her house, and kill her. But I don't think I was born to kill.
But I don't think I was born to kill.
We don't have to be victims of our experiences, be the victims in our stories, because we hold power, the power to change what those experiences represent. The things that hold us down can one day hold us up. That's my story. What's yours?